Hi, everyone. I just want to talk to you today about RAM prices. I don't know if anyone's been paying attention. Probably some of you have. RAM prices have been going crazy, and RAM availability is getting tighter and tighter. And my question today is really, how constrained are we going to be and for how long? There's a story here from, what is this, Tom's Hardware, that says data centers will consume 70% of memory chips made in 2026. Supply shortfall will cause the chip shortage to spread to other segments. That makes sense. And we've seen a lot of things already. This was back in January, right? February or March, Mac Studio 512 gigabyte option disappears. Apple didn't announce anything, just suddenly it was no longer orderable. So that's a bummer because that was a pretty nice computer. And so now there's, 256 gig is your maximum version. And you think, well, maybe people don't buy the 512 gig. I think people are planning on buying plenty of the 512 gig. I think Apple was wanting to keep those RAM chips available for their other computers so they can sell more of them. Would you rather sell one Mac Studio with 512 gig? Or, I don't know, if you did 32 gig, what is that, 8 times? No. 32, I don't know. I can't do math while trying to think. I can't think while trying to talk. So 5, 12, 32, yeah, 16. 16, you could sell 16, computers with 32 gig, or you could sell one Mac Studio. And so that's, I think, a pretty clear decision on their part. But that was March 5th, right? So then we've got, go ahead to April 11th. Apple stops accepting orders for some Mac Mini and Mac Studio models. And if you go into the details, it says Mac Mini configurations with an upgraded 32 or 64 gig of RAM and Mac Studios with an upgraded 120 or 256 are listed as currently unavailable. This is like everything but the base models, basically. These are, Mac Mini with 32 gig is not crazy. Mac Studio with 128, not crazy. So not available, not available, not available. I don't know. Let's see here. So, what do you think is going to happen here? My question is, I was kind of holding off. I don't want to buy. I've got a couple of M4 Pro Mac Mac Mini and a laptop. I was looking to maybe upgrade one of them to like an M5 Pro or Max this year. Prices are already higher. I don't know if they said that here. Oh, sorry, back in this previous one. I think they said when they talked about cutting the 512 gig option, it says Apple has also raised prices for the 256 gig option. So it used to cost you $1,600 to go from 96 gig to 256, which was already a lot. And now it costs $2,000 to go to that same increment, to that same 256. So they raised that $400. I think we're going to see coming out this year as the new Apple devices come out, the rest of them, I think we're going to see very few high RAM options, and the ones we do see are going to be expensive. I don't know if the base models are going to get hit on price, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I also think that that certainly the expanded RAM options are going to be very, very much hit by these pricing shortages or these RAM shortages. I just was trying to show you this and I didn't even actually switch to it. Sorry. Which one is it here? Sorry, 1 second here. Boom. Okay, sorry. I was trying to highlight this. Apple raised the price of 256 gig option. There you go. You can see that a little better. Apple raised the price of the 256 gig option. Used to cost $1,600 to go to 256 gig, and now costs $2,000. So $400 increase on $1,600. That's 25%. I think we're still early days here. Mac Mini models. This is the one where we're saying, hey, we no longer have 32 or 64 gig options available on Mac Minis, and we don't have 128 or 256 on Mac Studios. Now, these are both Mac Rumor stories. No, this one is just crazy. SK Hynix, one of the biggest RAM producers in the world, is doing a craziest thing in the world. You can see it on your screen here, but I'm going to say it out loud. Every SK Hynix employee could receive $477,000 bonuses this year, almost $900,000 next year. It's 35,000 workers reported set to benefit from a share of 169 billion projected operating profit. 169 billion in operating profit is kind of insane. That's a really big number. Yeah. Don't even know what else to say that. There's another article I didn't put a link to here, I think, about Samsung employees being really pissed because SK Hynix people are getting so much money. And it doesn't sound like they're getting crap. So, oh yeah, at Samsung, things aren't looking quite so rosy. Right here. Make that a little bigger for you. There you go. At Samsung, things aren't looking quite so rosy as disputes rage on surrounding what percentage of earnings should flow to workers. The company's union is pushing for 15% of operating profit, which market analysts project will reach $200 billion this year. At that level, semiconductor division alone would owe approximately $396,000 per employee. Wow. Wow. I got to say, the companies that have to hate this, if they pay this out, I'm guessing that's going to be a one and done, and they will find a way to eat that profit in the future, change their plan. But nonetheless, Jesus, holy man. Microsoft says, hey, RAM prices posing a threat to Helix price tag. So if you're looking for Xbox Project Helix in 2027 or maybe 2028, might be a problem because of RAM prices. Mac availability. So, okay, I started trying to make this little thing, and it doesn't really work great, but basically you can say, hey, let's look for Mac Mini. Now this, unfortunately, this only shows the pre-configured models, not custom pricing, but you can see here that it's base model, Mac Mini, 24 gig of RAM, 512 gig. I don't even know what this is. Is that what this one is? Oh, yeah. By memory. There we go. 24 gig model is available in 58 stores. The 16 gig base, I guess, the $599 deal is not available. If you look at the two configurations here, I don't know, I can't scroll this down. I think I have to make this window just a little bit like this. No, that didn't do it. A little bit more. Sorry, it's making it smaller for you. Yeah, so we've got a base and forth, 10-core CPU, 10-core GPU, 16 gig of RAM, 256 gig SSD, $599 across 272 stores. It is not there. 272 Apple stores in the US. I'm looking at, I think I have a global view too. Does this work? Yeah, I think it does. Oh, look at this. Wait, did I lose my Mac Mini? Okay, Mac Mini. Select all, okay. So there's still those two. Okay, fine. So 482 stores globally. 16 gig model, not available. By not available means cannot pick up today. It might be available to ship like in a week or 2 weeks or whatever. I'm working on getting that data into this thing. This is called, I think it's Drew's Mac availability something. I think it's on my GitHub if you want to look at it, but it's kind of a mess right now. But anyway, yeah, so 24 gig option, which is... the 24 gig got? It's got 12 core CPU instead of 10, 16 core GPU instead of 10, 512 gig SSD available. So you can get that one, but that's a lot more money. If I go back just to look at just the US again, roll up Mac Minis again. Okay, there we go. There's two options basically. $599, completely not available at any store right here, 16 gig. And the $13.99, so that's, what is that? It's more than double the money. You get a 50% more RAM, bigger SSD, but that one's teeny. It's embarrassingly small. So, you know, if you want to go up price, they'll sell them to you. If you want to do the base model, they're like, no, ball gone. Let's see. Oh, that's two windows of the same thing. Okay. Yeah. And then just now today, a few minutes ago, I think this is today, yesterday, there's stories, people talking on like Reddit and things in the last week or so saying, hey, looks like RAM prices are coming down. Is that a sign that we're getting some relief? I don't think it is. I mean, this article, I haven't even really read it, but it doesn't seem to think so either. I think that we're going to see pressure on these RAM prices for a long, long time. I think, 16 gig as being the normal standard thing that people get is going to be the standard for a few years for sure. And they're going to, these manufacturers, I mean, I'm just been looking at Apple, but I think they're all going to struggle to try to keep that number, keep the price of that number reasonable. Anyway, RAM prices just hit new highs. Sold out Mac Minis to bad next gen Surface prices. Here, let's just do this in the reader mode. There we go. Semiconductor. Somebody's trying to make their own RAM. I don't really understand how that is. But anyway, so my question is this. So should we consider, like, should we be buying some of these devices that are available that do have decent chunks of RAM, even if they're not the most powerful hardware? Like, should I buy an M4 Max today with 256 gig, which I think you can get? Yeah, maybe you can't. You might be able to get that somewhere or used or whatever. Is it worth buying some of these just because the RAM is so hard to get? Also, word on the street is this is going to affect SSD prices kind of everywhere as well. So, the cost of hardware at your house in your hand, and that's going to be your phone, your iPad, tablet, whatever, your computer, laptop. Those are going to be, I think, have a lot of upward pressure for at least several years. I mean, you've got crazy amount of data center build-outs. I didn't try to look up any information on that. Anyway, what do you all think? Should we buy a bunch of Mac Minis, Mac Studios, or just kind of see what happens? And more importantly, should I upgrade my M4 Pro MacBook Pro? Should I try to get the M5 Pro or the M5 Max? And if so, how much RAM? Because I only bought this thing with 48 gig of RAM because I was being a cheapskate. And I've already regretted it, so let me know. Anyway, see you guys later.